for this week, like I was saying, is that today we are going to go over, I would say the biggest one is numbers, and then our second half will be time signs. What we'll do with the time signs, depending on how comfortable and how well y'all feel with numbers, we can finish all of time, or we can half it and then do the rest of it next week. So it really depends on how you guys are feeling, especially when we get through our numbers. One of my favorite things I like to start off with talking about numbers is that you actually can go up to 999 on one hand. Yeah, I love saying that. Okay, like some of you are like, okay, cool, and then some are like, whoa. I think it's the coolest thing. I love telling kids that. I love telling people that. I'm like, I can actually count all the way to 999 just on one hand. I don't need my second one until 1,000. So we'll be looking at that. And one of the nice things is after you get to a certain point, about like 25, really, the numbers start to get kind of repetitive. So in a good way. So where you're like, okay, that's easy to pick up on. I can get that. Usually numbers 1 through 25, there's some that have their own sign and some that do the pattern thing. So you'll notice that as we go along. So the first numbers we're going to do are numbers 1 through 10. And you guys already have a head start because we all know that this is 1. Oh, wait, my bad. 0 or 0. I always skip 0, and someone actually called me out on it. It was like, hey, you forgot 0. I was like, oh, I did, but it's 0. Then we have 1, 2. Now here's where it gets different. 3 is going to be your thumb. Yeah, 3. Then we have 4, 5. And for 6, we're going to do what we think of as 3, 6. Then 7 is going to be our ring finger, 7. Then 8 is our middle finger. 9. And then 10 is, we're going to shake a thumbs up. 10. So let's go through those again. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. My way of keeping up with it is I actually kind of think of it almost like it's a pattern. So when we're starting, we're building our fingers, we're having them all kind of starting to point up. By the time we get to the 6th one, we're starting with our pinky and we're starting to go back down towards our thumb again. That's how I think about it. And that's how I kind of keep pace with myself when I know, okay, well, we've gotten all our fingers up. Now we're going to start to move them down again. So that's how I kind of keep up with that. If that helps you, I'm glad. If not, and you have your own system, great. I just like to add those in case someone's like, oh, wait, no, that helps. All right. So now for 11 through 15, what we're going to do is we're going to basically, you're going to be flicking your finger up. So 11 is just one pointer finger flicking it up. And it is important that the back of your hand faces that person. So I want to be able to look at my inside of my hand, basically. Yeah. So 11, 12 is 2 fingers. Excuse me. 13 is going to now be that thumb is sticking out, and you're going to go like that come here motion, 13. 14 is going to be all 4 fingers and going the come here motion as well. It's real important you make sure your thumb does not stick out. So that needs to go inside. 14. And then 15 is going to then be your thumb sticking out. 15. Okay. Then for 16, there's 2 ways to show it or do it. I'm going to show you both ways. The more, I usually say this one's the more like a beginner level. This is what most people do. It's actually what a lot of younger kids do when they're first learning it, is you make a 6 and you're going to shake it. 16. 16. The other one is actually going to be your pinky on your thumb. You bounce it. So yeah, so this is the other option for 16. This one can be sometimes like a weird one to do at first. If you're not used to it, it's like, oh wait, that's kind of like not comfortable. That's why usually I say the beginner one, you always start with this. But then by like the end of, like after you practice enough, you change into this one. So, but both of them are acceptable. Then we'll do the same thing for 17. So 17, you have your 7. Shake it. Or 17, where you have your ring finger bounce on your thumb. Same thing for 18. So 8, shake, 18. Or 18. And tell me if my lighting is where I'm trying to, my mom's got one of those fancy little light things, and I'm trying to like angle it properly, but like I'm not used to having a light on me. I have usually just natural light coming out. So I'm like, I feel like I'm like on the stage right now. So I'm trying to put like in the best lighting place for y'all. Let's see, there we go. Okay. Then our next one, 19, is going to be again 9. You can shake it, or 19. Okay, so then for 20, what you're going to do is you're going to do like how we do our G, kind of start our G, and you just go 20. You bounce it. Or better yet, baby shark. If you guys know baby shark. That's what most people will say is, oh, it's baby shark. I'm like, it is. All right, let's go back 11 through 20. And then we're going to go all the way back 1 through 20. All right, sound good? Okay. So we have 11, and then 12, 13, So this one is going to be your 2 fingers and your thumb sticking out. And then your 2 fingers are actually making that come here motion. Yeah, 13. Then 14, 14. Yes. So we did have one person ask, sorry, I was reading and I'm like, oh wait, you said it just to me. And I said yes randomly. Someone asked if we could at the end of class review the alphabet. Yes, we can definitely do that. If you guys at one point when we get to kind of a good midpoint for the time, I'll ask if you want to continue or if we want to just review the alphabet. So if you guys are all good, we can go over that again. So we have our 14, and then 15 is the thumb out, 15. Then 16, 16, or 16. Then 17, 17. Or 17. Good. All right. Then we have 18, 18, or 18. Then 19, or 19. And then our final one, 20. 20. Okay. Now, let's go back all the way to 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say the number first, and then I'm going to kind of delay with myself. So that gives you a chance to kind of think it through. Okay. So we have 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, then 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16 or 16, 17, 17 or 17, either way, 18. 18. And then 19. 19. And then 20. 20. Good, 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 good. You guys picked up on that. I mean, I was having to say it. I was saying it, but y'all were catching on to it. I was having to come in delayed. I was like, I don't have to really show much of them. They got this. I will say 7 and 8 are some of the hardest ones. I think those are probably some of the most challenging ones because they're so close to each other. A lot of people, and Miss Katie was here, she would say the exact same thing. Those two got her for so long that even now, I think someday, every now and then, it randomly will get her, and she's like, I signed that wrong. So 7 and 8 are very easy to mess up. And I mean, I have kids at school who will do that. Like, that's just, they're so easy. They're so close to each other. So good job. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go 21 through 25. And then after that, I will show you how you kind of sign all them afterwards. Like I said, they get kind of repetitive. So 21 is going to be, you're going to have that L and you're going to bounce your thumb. 21. 22 is going to be a 2. And what you're going to do is you're going to go 22. So 2, 2. 23 is going to have that 3 and your middle finger thumb. Wow, that did not make sense. Middle finger is going to bounce. 23. And then 24 is going to be like 22. You're going to go 2, 4. 24. And then 25 is going to be, you're going to have this 5. Your middle and ring finger are going to bounce. 25. It's kind of like you're doing Spider-Man, but kind of faced up. 25. Okay. So let's go back 21 through 25. So 21 was again that L. And you're going to have your little thumb bouncing. 21. Then we have 22. 2, 2. 23. 23. 24. And then 25. Good. Okay. So like I was saying, that repetitiveness, that's actually what we were doing for 22 and 24, is that kind of bouncing motion. Some people will kind of go side to side. Some will go down. So like 22, usually for like double digits, not double digits. What's the word? Well, I can think when they're the same number, you know, you have your 22, 33, 44, those, that's typically where you'll see more of that bouncing. Sometimes for 43, 43, you kind of make that like turn motion. 43, 43, that. So like I was saying, what you typically do is, so for like 26, you would go 26, 27, 28, 29. Some people, I will say, I'll add this here. Let me actually move my participation. Will you let me close you? No? Okay, fine. Then I'm gonna leave it. Sorry, it's just there's a whole list of names and then there's the chat box, and I was like, that is a lot right there. I wanted to make it a little bit bigger, but that's fine. Some people will actually do, I see this every now and then, not as often, but I want to let you guys know in case you do come across someone and they sign it and you're like, I've never seen that number. Gillian lied to me. And like, I don't want y'all coming after me. Is some people will go 24, like they'll have like that L instead of doing the 2, they'll go 24, 26, 27, that. This still means a 2. I would count, like if you have the fingers up, that's how many. It just kind of depends sometimes on regions and area. One of the cool things is that we that with ASL, it's actually almost like how, you know, with like English, we have like our different dialects. We have like our Southern, you know, phrases of ways of saying things. That's kind of the same way it can be in ASL as well. And so some places, like for example, just even being in a different state, like I have a coworker who is actually from Tennessee and she is deaf and she went to the Tennessee School for the Deaf. And we always are talking, trying to figure out signs that they sign differently there and we sign here. Like, for example, at my school, that we use the sign for ketchup is ketchup. And on her first day teaching, she was really confused because a kid at lunch was asking, can I have more? And she's like, oh, you mean fruit? Yeah, go ahead. And he kept saying no. And he was a young kid and he wasn't explaining himself. He kept going, no, ketchup. And she's like, fruit, yeah, go. And he's like, he kept arguing with her. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then he finally was like, it's red, and is making the motion for ketchup. And she's finally like, oh, and she finger spells it. And he's like, yes. And she was so confused. She's like, why did I not like what? So it's kind of crazy how certain signs will just be used in certain areas. And we'll have some that kind of even mix together. So that's another one, like when you have like the 24 or 24. So I just like to let y'all know in case you're like, that's not what I was told. They can be both. Okay. So for numbers like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, etc., what you're going to do all the way up to 90. I'll stop there. I didn't want you to think it's all the way up to 90. What you typically will do is you'll start with that like 3 and you come into a circle. So 30. So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 90. So it's like you're just having the 9 and then you come into that 0. So that's how you would do your 10s. Let's go through our 21 through 25. And then what I'm going to do to you guys is I'm going to say 26 through 20. I'll say, I guess 26 through 30. And I want to see if you guys can catch it. All right. Sound good? All right. So we have 21. See, there we go. Then 22. So 2. 23. 23. There we go. Then 24. 2, 4. 24. And then 25. 25. Okay. Then we have 26. So 26 or 26, either way. 26 with that little L or the 2, 26. I'll even admit, I catch myself at school sometimes changing up. Sometimes I go 26, sometimes I go 26. I don't know why. My brain's just like, we're just going to pick and choose and be like all kinds of wonky. So sometimes if you catch me saying that, like I'll see you, I'm going to see you next Tuesday on the 26th. And if I say 26 or 26, it happens. Then we have 27. So 27 or 27. 27. 28. 28. And then 29. 29. So 9's going to be your pointer finger and your thumb together. There you go. Yes. So 29. Okay. And then 30. 30. Half of y'all did 60, I will say. It's so easy. You get so used to, because we've always done this as 3. And after a while, you'll start to even be like, when you see someone doing this, you're either going to go, is that a 6 or is that a W in your brain? Because I'll do that. I'll have a camper at school, and like at the camp I work at, the kids are all hearing, so we don't sign all day. And I'll be like, or I'll even some of my cohort counselors, I'll be like, how many do you need? And they're like, and they kind of make the motion from a distance, and I'm like, and I have to sit there for a minute. And I have to go, do you mean 6 or do you mean 3? Because my brain is like, we're not going to be on the same page. So that one, it takes time. It's like it's a habit. You got to break the habit to get to that 30. So 30. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to how you would sign 100, 1,000, and 1,000,000. I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. I know it's like, oh my gosh, we're going that far already. It's not. There's a specific sign you use. So you would do the number with this sign. So it's like, once you know these three, you can go up to those. So for 100, what you're going to do is you're going to actually, like for 100, you'll start with that 1 and you're going to come back into a C, 100, 100. So 100. If you were going to be doing like 200, you go 200 with that C again, 200. I kind of make a whole, like my hands like backing away, like it's doing like 2 zeros almost. That's my visual of it, 200. Then like for 300, 300, 300, 300. Sometimes people just go 300, like they'll pull their hand back with just the 3. That's okay. Like it's not, it's right. It's just a different way. So 300 or 300. And then for 1,000, this is where you do use your other hand. So what you're going to do for 1,000 is you'll do for like 1,000 specifically. You'll do 1,000. And you almost want to make sure you go to the base of your palm of your hand. So you're non-dominant. So 1,000, 1,000. And then if you were going to do like 4,000, you go 4,000. If you wanted to do something like 400,000, something like that, you would add them all together. So you would go 400,000. And then our last one, 1,000,000, is going to be that same position as 1,000. You're going to do 1, and you're going to do the same motion for 1,000, but you're going to add an extra step. So you're going to do bump, bump. So 1,000,000. 1,000,000. Yep. I like to add a funny story here about I had one student who he liked to like talk about money. Like he was like he was obsessed with money and like his fancy shoes and everything. And so whenever we would do numbers, he would always like when we were just talking about stuff, he'd always ask me, well, what's like 1,000 times 1,000 or things like that, really big numbers. And then so I would be like, I'll be like, okay, just to prove it, there it is. And he'd be like, whoa, how'd you guess that? And then one day he was like, I'm going to challenge you. And he was like, what was it? I think it was like 10 or 100 times one. And then he went bump, 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 bump. I mean, he just kept bumping. Like it was like 100 million, billion, trillion, zillion, da, 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 da. Like it's like how you would think with like little kids when they're always like, well, you know, it's like a zillion times. He was doing that, but with a sign, and his was just bump, 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 and he kept going. Like, I mean, he just kept going like it was still going. And I remember I was like, I'm not answering that for you. I was trying to be smart and it was funny to me, but I remember he just kept, I will never forget the just constant little, like, it's like tippy toes. So, all right, let's go back. I know I've been going a little fast. I'm trying to slow down. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm one of those people. I could just let's keep going. That's sort of deal. So let's go back. Let's review our 100,000 and million. And then what we'll do is just as a little practice, I'll kind of sign a few numbers. I'll start with 1 through 25 first. And then after that, I might add 100, like a example of 100, example of 1,000, and then 1,000,000, and see how you guys are feeling. Okay. So for 100, how would we sign 100? 100. I think about, if you remember with Roman numerals, a C is 100. That's what I think of. If you guys think, I always like, I don't know why I'm like, let's go Roman numerals. So I always think that C for 100. Oh, excuse me. All right. Then what do we do for 1,000? So 1,000, 1,000. Then for 1,000,000? 1,000,000. Yep, 1,000,000. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my hands down here because I've caught myself low-key cheating for other people without realizing it. I say the number as I'm signing it, and I'm like, oh, everyone's getting it right. And then I'm like, oh, because I'm literally showing everyone. I mean, they had it right anyways, but I'm like over here telling you the answer. So I'm gonna say we'll go 5 numbers through 1 through 25. Like I'm gonna just pick 5, and then we will move on to the other 3. Okay. So number 1, can you guys show me the sign for 9? I know, Kyle, you weren't here. Don't worry. You can catch on with the, yeah. I was supposed to say, this is where I would be like, I give you permission to be looking at everyone's screen going, what did everyone else say? But yes, so 9. 9 is going to be that pointer finger and our thumb. There you go. It's easy to do the 6 and the 9. It always, yeah. It's like the 7 and 8s get mixed up and 6 and 9s get mixed up. Yeah, you're good. All right. Number 2, can you guys show me 12? Mm-hmm. 12 or 12. You can do the 2 motion or flicking them up. Either way, I've seen them both. 12. Good. All right. Can you show me 3? Good. You have to teach your hand. It's like you're having to be like, stop going this one. It's not this anymore. It's this. Oh, yeah. All right. Good. Okay. Number 4. Can y'all show me 16? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 16 or 16. Yeah. 16, 16. Mm-hmm. All right. And then number 5. Can y'all show me 20? So I will say for y'all that is acceptable. Doing a 2-0, and no one will, if you do that, if you can't remember 20, you're totally fine if you did a 20, 2-0. I can't always guarantee that no one might look at you and go, but they're gonna know what you mean. They may like jokingly judge you, but it won't be bad. They're just gonna be like, you mean 20? They'll probably show you. So 20. Okay. So for number 6, I'm going to add the 100 in it. Okay. All right. Can y'all show me 400? Yeah. So 400. So remember, 1,000's on the hand. Yeah. Remember, you can go all the way up to 999 on one hand. So 400. 400. All right. Then let's go to number 7, which will be 1,000. So 2,000. So 2,000. Yep, 2,000. Good. All right. Then for number 8, we're going to do our million. Let's do 7 million. So 7 million. Yep. 7 million. You did 17. Don't worry, but I knew, but you know what? You had the 7. You didn't say 18. You said 17. I was like, I will take it. So 7 million. Okay. So let me explain how you would have it if you had a number like 473, something like that, how you would sign it. I think you guys are probably like, I couldn't figure that out. But just to be clear, so you would do 400 and then you go 73. Most of the time you can slide across, especially if it gets like really big numbers, like you're talking about like 457,000, blah, 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 blah. I can't even keep myself in order when I say numbers like that. So I'm not going to try. I always will end up swapping numbers on y'all, and I don't want to do that and confuse y'all more. So if you were going to just do like a 553, you would go 553, 53. You don't have to go 553. You can go across. If that helps you visually keep it in order, you can, but you can just keep it 553. All right. So does anybody have any questions about numbers and how are y'all feeling? Yeah, I think there's a numbers quiz that we actually have that you guys can practice. I'll make sure I'll talk with Miss Katie and see if she can send that out. It's a good kind of refresher. And yes, Numbers are one of those that you just kind of keep. I always will sit there and practice. That's another one that I'll sit there and I'll see how far I can count. Like how far can I get? And it's actually a nice little like, I don't know, like a relaxer, like a breather, like okay, I'm calm, or I'll do that every now and then. I'll just start sitting there doing it because I'm so used to it just doing it that like I go like, as you can see, I'm going like really fast because that's just my like constant repetitiveness. So um okay, let's see what I'm thinking. Why don't we do a little bit of a practice group of numbers and a few letters, like a few words, like I finger spell a few words. Does that sound good for y'all? Just to practice both of them? Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say the number and then I'm going to, how about this? I'm actually going to sign the number and then I'll sign the word, like sign the letters as well. So for number 1, it's going to be a number. Does that make sense? And then you guys can type it in the chat box. Sorry, I realized I did not mention that. Okay. So our first number. So number 1 is going to be 20. Ooh, just said I was going to sign it and I'm telling you the number. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's been a day. Okay. New number, totally new now. So for number 1, it's going to be okay. So yeah. So this is right. 13. So if my thumb is sticking out, it's the 13, the 3. Good. Okay. Number 2 is going to be another number. All right. So this one is 25. A helpful tip for that is if you have the 2 fingers in the middle, I think of as the 2, and then all like you're bouncing, it's like you're having the 2 coming down. So 25, if that makes sense. Like there's the 2 here and then the whole 5, 25. All right. Number 3 is going to be another number. Good. So this one is 8. Yeah. Okay. Number 4 is going to be, let's do a word. Okay. I'm going to go really slow. I promise. Okay. So number 4 is going to be sorry. I was like, we haven't reviewed the ABCs. I'm like, I hope everyone's like, okay. I don't want to be mad, but y'all got it right. Yay. Y'all should give yourselves a pat on the back. I know it's a simple word, but that means that you learned something last week and you kept it in your brain. So, all right. Number 5 is going to be another word. Okay. All right. Ready? All right. I'm going to spell it again. I have lighting. There we go. Yeah. So that one was lamp. Good job, you guys. There's so many of y'all that I like, all I see is it just keeps scrolling up. I'm like, oh, wait, I got to make sure everyone got it. So yeah, lamp. Good. Okay. Number 6 is going to be a number. All right. Okay. Good. So yeah, so this one is 14. Yeah. I tried to peek my head on the other side so I could make sure y'all clearly saw that there is no thumb sticking out. I don't know if that helped because I realized I was like, kind of could be easy to see. I was like, hi, I'm over here. There's no thumb. 14. All right. That was number 6. So let's go to number 7. Let's do another number. Okay. All right. Okay. So this one is 23. Again, it's that. I would think of there's the 2 and then the 3. 23. Look, if this is a number, if this is one of the numbers, this one and this one are ones that get you, don't stress because in the end, if you're like, I don't remember it, you can definitely go 23 or 25. I promise. The big ones are the ones that are like the first 10, where you're like, I actually need to know the number so I can tell you what number it is. So if those are the two that get y'all the most, which I'm like, that is a-okay. I promise. Yes. Let's go through 1 through 30 all together and then see how everyone feels on that. All right. So, or I guess we'll start with 0. Sorry. All right. So number 0. 1, 2, 3. 3. 4, 5. 6. So yeah, so Kyle, you weren't here. Yeah, so 6. Then 7. Then 8. 9. 10. So 10 is a thumb up and you shake it. Yep, there you go. 11. 12. And remember, you do want to see, you want the back of your hand facing away from you. Yeah, there you go. 12. 13. 13. Then 14. 14. 15. 15. 16. They're the two ways. So you can make a 6 and then shake it, or you can have your pinky bounce on your thumb. 16. All right. Then we have 17. 17 or 17. 18. 18. Yep. See, Kyle, you're catching on. You didn't even need any. I was like, because I've been trying to be helpful because I know you weren't. You came in late and you already had it. Yeah, 18 or 18. Then 19. 19 or 19. Then 20. 20. Then 21. 21. 22. 22. 23. 23. 24. 24. And then 25. 26, 26 or 26. So it can be that 2 to 6, or it can be the L, 26, 26. Then 27, 27 or 27. 28, 28 or 28. 29. So 29 or 29. Yep. And then 30. 30. 30. There we go. Good. Okay. All right. So we have about 15 minutes left. There's our little 15 in there. You'll start to see me add more numbers in. I typically do anyways, but now that I'm like, oh, y'all know them, I'm going to just start adding them randomly. And oh, we have 15, 20, whatever minutes left. I'm thinking, I have one sign I want to show y'all, and then I'm going to leave it be. We can practice some more, but I'm not going to add any more. The only sign I want to show you is the sign for the word number, the actual sign for numbers itself. So the sign for number is like you have like your two little zeros, and you're going to go number. So this is number. I wanted to show that because as we go on practicing, like as we go on, and there's sometimes when we go review and practice, I'm going to go number 1, number 2, number 3, those things. So I wanted to give you the clarity of this is the sign for number. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So would you guys like to practice words or numbers? Which would you guys want to finish off practicing more of? I mean, we can also do I know it's kind of chaotic when we do the bouncing, but I feel like sometimes that kind of helps you kind of think on your feet, but either way is fine with me. Okay. All right. So let's practice more adding. Okay. So let's practice some numbers for a little bit. And then at the very end, we can, someone asked if we can practice spelling our names. So we'll go through numbers, and then probably about 7:25. So at 7:25, we will go practice our names. Sound good? Okay. Would you guys prefer, so for numbers practicing, do you want to go through it again, or would you guys rather I pick numbers and sign them to kind of help you guys visually see it? What would y'all rather prefer? The two options I'm meaning is like watching, like you guys watch and trying to read the number, or you signing the number. Okay, pop quiz, pick. Okay. All right. Sorry, there's so many of y'all. I'm trying to like catch on. I'm like, okay, everyone's going up. I'm like, wait, I haven't finished. Okay. So let's real quick do 11 through 30 again. Then we'll do it where I will pick a number and you guys can practice kind of reading it. So, all right, let's start with 11 again. So trying to get again. All right, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16 or 16, 17, 17 or 17, 18, 18 or 18, 19, 19 or 19, Whichever. You don't have to do both of them. You don't have to sign 1919. If you just want to pick one and stick with it, that's totally fine. I just am showing both just so as a reminder of which, like, you have options. If you guys want to be like, I already know I like doing 19, I like doing 19, you can go ahead. I know that's the last one of those, but I wanted to say you don't have to keep repeatedly going back and forth on them. All right. Then we had 20. 21. 21. 22. 22. 23. 23. Yep. 24. 24. 24. 25. 25. 26. So 26. This is another one. If you like doing the L and the 6, that's fine. If you like doing the 2 and the 6, either way, that's fine. 27. So 27 or 27. 28. 28 or 28. 29. 29 or 29. And then 30. 30. 3 to 0. Yep. 30. Okay. How are we feeling 11 through 30 now? A little bit better. I know it takes the thing with ASL is it's a lot of, the more you practice, it helps. So let's go. I'm going to say a few numbers to kind of practice, and you guys can type them in. And then by the time we finish that, we'll go over spelling, having everyone spell their name again. And then we'll finish for tonight. Okay. All right. So let's see our first number. Yes, 21 and 23 is one of my hardest ones, I think. This was a weak one I had for me. So I totally get it. It's one of those, like, it practice and just kind of getting it to where you sign them. It struggles. So yes. Okay. Let's see. Let's do 5 numbers. All right. So number 1, we're going to do good. So this one is 8. Yes. All right. Then number 2 will be good. Okay. Then number 3. Oh, yes. I was like, why is he saying come here? Yeah, it's that come here motion. Yeah. All right. Number 3 is going to be good. All right. Number 4. Making sure. All right. And then number 5. Good. Yeah. So this one is 23. Yes. Good, 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 good. Okay. So now let's have everybody finger spell their name. And then, like I said, we should finish off with that. All right. So I'm going to go with how my screen is showing and then kind of go that way. All right. So the first person I have is Kyle. Okay. If you need help, let me know and I can review it. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. Yes. All right. Woo. My next one is Lynn. Mm-hmm. Good. Y'all are really lucky. Y'all's names are like, everyone's names are really short. Perfect. Yes. All right. The next one I have is Ashley. Good. Awesome. All right. Next one is Gwen. Ooh, good. All right. The next one is Jenna. If you need, yes. Do you need help? Or are you good? Okay. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Then we have Julie. Okay, good. The only thing is, where your J, it's the pinky. But you had it down and you had everything else so smooth. It was awesome. So yes, but great job. Okay. And then is it Anne? Okay, double checking. Perfect. Yeah, y'all really, all of y'all lucked out. We've had a few people in the past whose names were like about, it was like Margaret, because that's my middle name. So Margaret and really long. And every time we go over there, they're like, I got a finger spell, and they start to sit there and they're like, my hand hurts just saying my name. So we lucked out really well on this. Okay. For, excuse me, the last 3 minutes, does anybody have any questions? It doesn't have to be necessarily related to numbers. It could be things like, you're thought about this, or you're curious about something about this with ASL or even deaf culture, anything like that. I see someone typing away and I can't decide if she's trying to type for us. Yep. I love when I see someone sit up and they're immediately typing, and I'm like, or they have I see the motion. I'm like, I think they're typing. So. Let me make sure. It keeps trying to tell me to jump to the next message. Oh, there we go. Okay, so when you have double digit numbers, so typically the way the order would go is you're technically going to have, so if you're talking about saying 43, you would start with the 4. I start from opposite me. Now I am left-handed, but it's not too, if you go 43, it just is more important that you have your hand the starting number. So if I was trying to say 43, I wouldn't go 3 to 4. I wouldn't do that, because then that would look like 34. But going from 34 or 34, that doesn't, the movement isn't as important as what you start with. And usually you want to start with the biggest number first. So you start with that 4 and go to 3. So if you were doing a big number, and you were doing, I'm if you're doing 1,750, 1,750. I guess that doesn't help as much because that, but you would start with the biggest number and go down. And it's kind of like how in English, when we're saying things like 1,750, I start with the 1,000 first. You would do that same motion. But if I were to go 1,750, that wouldn't throw it off. It's just more comfortable to go towards you. You start away and coming towards you. But it's not a big deal, if left-handed, right-handed versus that sort of thing. Wouldn't make as much of a big impact. So yeah, so 23, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or was that what you're saying? 23? I was following your mouth because I caught the 2, but I didn't catch the second one. 24, yeah. So 24 or 20. This just feels weird to me because I'm used to going towards my hand, if that makes, yeah, that. I'm glad you're enjoying the app. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones. Some of them do require pay, and then there's some that are free and they're nice. I try to find the ones that are free. I'm I don't want to make people have to buy the app. So, all right. It is now 7:30, so I will let you guys go. I will talk to Miss Katie and see if she has that numbers quiz because I know we have one. And hopefully she won't be able to send out, excuse me, she won't be able to send out the video from this class until I believe, let me see. I know she said it in her text. Let me double check it real quick for you guys. Where did she say? Okay. That she won't be able to upload it into YouTube until about Thursday because they're heading back from their trip tomorrow. So she's hoping, so she's sorry about the delay on that, but she'll send that out and I will send her a reminder to see if she can find that numbers quiz to attach it when she sends out the email to everyone. All right. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of y'all's week and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye guys.
Thank you, Kate.